manually adjusted before playing Action Max. Increase your brightness level until you see 2 stars on your TV screen. The star on the left is darker than the star on the right. Turn your brightness control until the star on the left actually disappears, and the star on the right is barely visible. On your TV, the brightness control may be called bright level, black level, background, or grayscale. Be sure to rewind this portion of the tape if you need more time.
The 80s were a turbulent year for gaming. It started pretty strong in the early 80s and almost found itself extinct before being revived by Nintendo in the mid-80s. By the late 80s, Nintendo was sitting pretty on top of the gaming market, with Sega and Atari trying to get a piece of that 8-bit pie, but there was a select few that decided to innovate. Toy company Worlds of Wonder, best known for their Teddy Ruxpin and laser tag line of toys, decided to take the most popular film media of the day, VHS, and made them work with video games. And the result of that was a console that had you ready for action. It's the Action Max. You know, the founders of Worlds of Wonder were former Atari employees, so they knew how to innovate, for better or for worse. The Action Max was released in 1987, and as it says on the box, it's the first real action game system that has everything to turn your TV and VHS VCR into the hottest live-action stereo experience. Now that's a mouthful at the start, but this picture can back up those claims with a monochrome kid with headphones pointing a gun at a TV screen full of jets. Hope he knows that it's all just part of the game. Don't want anybody going out in real life shooting jets with a pistol. Around the box, it talks about its contents and what you can get with it. For example, you get the game Sonic Fury, which we'll get to later, with all its live-action footage and stereo sound. But it isn't the only game that can tout such qualities with the Action Max, for on this flap we see a few screenshots and info about a few others like .38 Ambush Alley, The Rescue of Pops Ghostly, and Hydro Sub 2021. Interesting games. Too bad I have none of them. Moving on to this flap, we have more of the same when it comes to the presentation and claims, the only real difference being the proof of purchase stamp, the barcode, and the Worlds of Wonder logo in red. Over on this flap is a picture of a family enjoying themselves with the system. You always have to have one of those, but it also has this welcoming text letting you know that this isn't 2D graphics, this is a real live-action VHS movie for you to compete in. The word compete will come into play later, because you may be playing with real VHS-like movies, but you can do only so much with that. Over on this part of the box, we can see they're telling us what is contained within the box and the age bracket the Action Max is intended for. But why read about it when you can see for yourself what lies inside? It's impressive to look at, but we're not going to talk about it here because I'm going to get everything out now. But before I forget, here's the final flap of the box that has more of the same. They really like that family pic that they had to put it on twice. But anyway, it's time to say farewell to the box and take a closer look at the system itself. Here is the base unit that makes everything come together. Or at least everything it controls. You see, you don't put the games in here. All this does is keep score and adjust some things. For example, we have the volume adjuster and distance adjuster, both of which we'll get to. And we also have the game setting, player setting, and the on and off switch. Of course you wouldn't know that without the manual. Too bad I don't have that, but the internet is a resourceful thing. On the front we have two jacks. One of them is for the controller, which believe it or not is this. A light gun, that if you'd paint black would look much like the kind a general would use, but it feels good to hold and it works beautifully well. It was as if it was barely used, which wouldn't be hard to believe. Now the other jack is used for the headphones that come with the system, and here they are right here. They look very thin and they could probably break even if it would fit around your head, but at least you'd have big earmuffs cause that's what those look like. Now when you plug it in, you can choose to have the volume come through or not come through, which would defeat the purpose, and you can adjust the volume to your liking. And this adjuster can adjust the distance of the gun from the TV, forgot to mention that, I'm forgetful nowadays. Now on the back we have more jacks and a switch. This one is for cables that you can connect the VCR to, and it'll send the sounds of the game to your headphones through the base unit, and you'll be able to adjust the sounds of mono to stereo depending on your VCR capabilities. Even though we're not near a VCR at the moment, I know what it can do, so we'll be doing stereo. I mean, we could go back on their claim of stereo sound, but we're in the 21st century, so they're safe from false advertisement. On the bottom of the unit is some information about what it's called, what its model number is, what makes it go, copyright info, and so forth. There's also a speaker right here. I didn't mention it yet, but the console will produce sounds of its own whenever you make a shot. I'm sure that won't get annoying. But going back to the middle, we have a battery compartment. The Action Max can take 4 C batteries or an AC adapter of appropriate voltage. Unfortunately, I don't think I have an AC adapter to fit the bill, plus it didn't come with the box, so the battery route is the only way we can take. We also have these pads and 2 screws. If you somehow gotta fix something on the inside, I wish you good luck because inside is bare bones. Now we've got mostly everything hooked up except for one thing, the score signal, which is this red circle right here. What you do with this is stick it to the bottom right corner of the screen, it has a suction cup to do so, and it'll act as a signal from the game to the base unit so it can keep score. The base unit is the only thing that keeps score, the game isn't able to do so. So if you want to know how well you're doing, you'll have to look down. But don't forget to hook the signal up. Now that everything is set up, we may as well look at the games, which has your basic VHS sleeve dressed up so you know the kind of tape you may inadvertently watch or Action Max game you're about to play. In this case, it's Sonic Fury. The tape is also decked in Action Max attire, but I still wouldn't be surprised if some people put the VHS in not knowing what was about to happen. And that is action. Now, as you probably could have guessed by now, all of the games for the Action Max are light gun games, where you just shoot certain flashing targets for points, and that's all there is to it. And considering that this is VHS, nothing ever changes in game, you can't necessarily interact with it for changing gameplay, only for points. This is pretty much why the system and VHS tapes as a gaming media never really caught on, as you can only go from point A to point B without ever changing anything. Therefore, no replay value is here. Not only that, but there is no possibility of winning or losing, so you can only compete with friends to see who can get a better high score. Not to say they don't try to shake things up. I mean, some flashing targets can reduce points, so that's a thing at least. The games themselves only vary in theme, as you'll have to figure out some new ideas so you can have multiple games, but of the 4 I mentioned in this video, there were only 5 ever made. Only 5! Which isn't too surprising, as this couldn't have lasted for so long, but if you wanted people to stick around for a great period of time, you would want to have more software, if you could call these that. The only other game that was released was Blue Thunder, based off the movie of the same name, and also the most sought after / extremely rare game for the Action Max. So it's got that going for it as well. The Action Max is for sure a unique experiment for gaming that never caught on for a long period of time. Believe it or not, this isn't the only VHS console, but it's probably the most memorable with its design and interesting games. I don't play it so much personally, but I do have a niche for weird consoles. In fact, I not only have 1, but 2. Reason being is because after I bought the box version, a relative of mine informed me he had one, and he gave it to me. so I may be nuts for having two, but I'm glad either way. And if you so happen to find an Action Max preferably complete with a game or two, you should pick it up and see what a now defunct toy company thought would be the future in gaming if VHS would continue to be a popular media. I mean, they were never going to beat out Laserdisc, so what were them Wonder Boys thinking? About action, that's what. It's the Action Max. It's tough to predict what will be the next big thing in gaming, or for anything for that matter, but if anything's for certain, handheld gaming has always been a blast. It's been around for so long, whether it's been just dominated by Nintendo or overinflated by many companies in the early days. And on the next episode, we're going to take a look at one of the many dedicated handhelds made by Coleco, the head-attacking aliens, coming after you. If you think I missed anything, please leave a comment. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you think others could get knowledge out of this, share this video. And if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Now, if you'll excuse me, nostalgia is calling.